man, you guys, I'm about to shoot the most impromptu video that's ever been filmed on this channel, probably. I never shoot impromptu videos on this channel. Flipping never. I don't have time for that. But I'm making time for it today because y'all ain't never gonna believe what I found at Five Below. I'm sorry, are you kidding me? This is a cereal candle? And due to the impromptu nature of this video, I have some cleanup to do. I mean, flipping, look at this table. This is the graveyard, the boneyard of a failed video, okay? I was out here trying to do something with jelly soap, and my jelly soap was not jellying. It's not strong enough. I've got little pumpkins that look like flan. I mean, maybe one like this, I had it in a mold for like 24 hours, might look better, but also maybe not. It's just not holding its own weight. Like, all of these jelly soaps turned out bad. I was literally trying to film a whole video. The whole thing has gone to crap. Now I've got to give all these away and clean up all this mess and also film the candle video. So pardon me while we speed clean. Watch me just like just load all these up. I will not deny the chokehold that jelly soaps have on me though. Like, look at it. Man, I don't know what the opposite of X Games mode is, but that's what I'm on right now. You know what I bought? I bought this off of TikTok Shop because they were like, it's even better than the Stanley Cup. And I have a Stanley Cup, and let me tell you, it is better than the Stanley Cup. And it's like 12 bucks, and like, it doesn't hardly leak. It will leak a little, like when you first turn it over, there will be a couple drips. But compared to Stanley, that will literally spill all 32 ounces, we're doing pretty good. How's Katie doing today?
Well, she's a little manic.
Man, oh man, it's been a wild week. I've had soap release stuff to do. I am trying to get my butt into gear to make more content for the Royal Creative Academy. And I've gotten into this weird mode where I'm like hyper-focused on two tasks and I think about them, I dream about them, I try to spend every single waking moment doing as much as I can for them. And this little sensation will be over in like 5 days, but while I'm in it, it's all I can do to not like eat, sleep, and breathe these projects. Everything is looking significantly better now. I do still have some things on the floor. I will clean that up after we make the candle. I feel like there's not enough content like this on YouTube anymore. That's one of the reasons I'm doing it today. There's not enough content where people just sit and hang out. We're living these fast-paced, instant gratification lives. And like, you know, TikTok, they really haven't helped the problem. People have an attention span for a video that's like 10 seconds long. Like every time I watch a Mr. Beast video, I'm like, I don't feel like I got to know anybody that well, but the instant gratification of seeing him give like $10 million to someone gets met. And so I'm like, I'll settle for that. But I don't have an emotional connection with anyone anymore. This is why I still watch like OG vloggers and bloggers, because they're still making the same type of content that was popular in like 2015, and I'm still feeling an emotional connection to that. Is that because I'm an old lady? Maybe. Let me just pull my little pink chair. Yeah. I didn't start this video with the intention of creating social commentary, but here we are. Now let's talk about this kit. Like I said, it's from Five Below, and literally as I've picked it up, it's falling apart. It was $5, what do we expect? And as a creative, as someone who makes content, as someone who does bath and body crafting for a living, I do my very best to consider the price of the kit within my review. Something that costs $5 is not gonna be as good as a kit that costs $80, okay? I do manage my expectations. So let's looky here. First of all, instructions. We've got our little cereal bowl. This is actually pretty cute. Like, unironically, I might own one of these bowls anyway to keep like jewelry in. Here's our silicone mold, okay? It's a $5 kit and it's got a silicone mold in it. Now, even if you got on Temu right now and looked for a multi-cavity silicone mold, they are gonna fall between the $3 to $5 range. So the fact that it's an entire kit for that much, that's pretty great. All right, we have our wicks, we have our dye, we have our wax, and we have our instructions. And based on the pictures in the instructions, it kind of looks like somebody is making this in their house. Y'all see what I mean? That's like not a studio background. That's like somebody somebody's countertop. Great. That makes me feel like I'm in somebody's kitchen while I'm doing this, which is nice. Orange fragrance, lemon fragrance, cherry fragrance, vanilla fragrance, i.e. everything in Fruit Loops. 3 little wicks, a stirring tool. I'm liking where this is going. Now, how am I gonna get these to stay? Basically, they're asking us to melt the wax, dip these in hot wax, set them in, and then pour more wax on top of it. Now, will that melt the wax and therefore have all 3 of these things floating around? Probably, but I am gonna try to follow instructions. Add a small amount of boiling water to a large bowl, and then set the smaller bowl with 1/4 of the wax chips into the larger bowl. So they're not even having you use a microwave for this. They do say that this is soy wax, but they don't say it's 100% soy wax. So I don't know if it is or not. It also says that it equals about 7 ounces. So yeah, let's get 1/4 of that out. We'll get some boiling water right here and we'll mix it up and see what happens. Okay, so from what I can tell after reading all of the instructions, that 1/4 of a cup of wax chips is supposed to be used for all 3 different colors of Fruit Loops. So if I was to melt them all down right now, I would have to do 1 color, and that wouldn't be great. So I'm literally going to do 1/3 of 1/4. And while yes, you could definitely do math to figure that out, or you could use a digital scale, we don't have that luxury with this kit. And since I am doing a review for a lot of people that may not have a digital scale at home, we're going to do something the old-fashioned way. You can get some little cups. I have these here, and we're going to split this into 4 different cups as equally as we can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, awesome. So here is our 1/4. We will move these off to the side. They didn't tell you how much dye or how much fragrance to use. I honestly feel like with all the work that I'm going to mix everything up, I could probably write a companion to these instructions that would help people out so much at home. Let's go get that hot water. Okay, this isn't exactly boiling, but it's hot enough to be steaming. So I have my 1/4 of the wax. I'm going to add 1/3 of that 1/4. I am using my finger because this is a personal craft, not something that I am selling. That's why I don't have a hairnet on. All right, that's about 1/3. I'm gonna set this off to the side, and then I'm going to let this melt in our hot water. Now, I'm gonna hold on to it, otherwise it's probably just gonna start floating away. And then I'm gonna start mixing it with my popsicle stick. Now, let me just tell you, if you don't have a little glass beaker like I do, yes, you can use plastic. You wanna make sure that it is a durable enough plastic that it wouldn't melt under heat. So look for the recycling code 5 on the bottom of your container, or 2 on the bottom of your container. Both of those plastic grades will be able to withstand really hot water and not melt on you. Now, I do recommend glass if you do have glass and if you feel comfortable working with it, because it will heat up faster than the plastic and it will hold its heat better than the plastic. So it will just make a hotter environment for your wax to melt. Now, while I've been yakking on, I have been stirring, and for about as much time as I've talked to you is about all it took for everything to get melted down. So you can see I now have clear wax. I'm gonna move my hot water off to the side, and then we get to add in our fragrance, which is already pre-mixed with color. You're not having to add 2 different things. I'm gonna start with yellow because I think that would be nice. I'm gonna add quite a bit because this is the only thing we're using this colorant for. We might as well add a lot. I'm not really getting a lot of a lemon scent. It does smell good, it just doesn't really smell like lemon. So we're gonna go ahead and add the whole thing. It really wasn't that much dye or fragrance, so I'm not really concerned about the fragrance not bonding with the wax and becoming oily because it just wasn't that much. Okay, cool. So I'm setting this off to the side. I got a little paper towel. Now we're gonna pour it in our silicone mold. You can just pour it with your container. It's going to be a lot messier that way. It's not even necessarily something I would recommend. Even with my spout on here, it's still hard to do. So I would recommend getting a pipette. Now these are cheap. You can get these at the dollar store, okay? They're in the craft section most of the time. You can reuse them, and look how much easier it is for me to fill this up. You can literally add 1 drop at a time so that you still end up having a middle. Because these are supposed to look like like Fruit Loops. You don't want to fill it up all the way. And using 1/3 of my 1/4 is too much. Like I have a ton of extra wax sitting over here. Let me see if the instructions say anything about that. Also, this pops off so you can clean it when you're done. It's gonna take no time at all for these to harden up. They're halfway there as we speak. Yeah, see, you can see here, they weren't even doing what I just did. I guess they were scraping off the top after it was filled up, but this is a little bit less wasteful. And I guess if you want to use these for like wax melts or something later on, because you have extra, you could definitely do that. Because I used what I was supposed to for this particular part, my yellow is very, very light. However, I think what I'll end up doing is just unmolding these and then adding the orange to this to make the orange a little bit more vibrant. They also said we could pop this into the freezer if we wanted to. Now, me trying to pick this up is causing some of them to break a little bit, but I'm going to be careful. I'm going to put it in the freezer for like 2 minutes, then we'll pull it out and unmold them because that'll be all the time it takes. Ooh, you know what we can do while we're waiting for that? We can go ahead and dip our wicks in this hot wax and glue it to the bottom of the bowls. Okay, I'm going to pull this out because let me tell you a trick. This was something my dad taught me after working with manufacturing and glassware. He said there is a coating on almost all glass when they are straight from the warehouse. So to get that little bit of residue and coating off, just spritz something with a bit of rubbing alcohol, wipe everything down, and then anything you put in that jar, including your Wicks stickers, hot glue, even something like the E600 type glue, everything will stick to your glass better if you wipe it out with rubbing alcohol first. Alternatively, just spray it. We used to have problems getting our, We used to have problems getting our wicks to stick to the bottom even when they had a good wick sticker in it. As soon as we started wiping out the glass, that whole problem went away. Yeah, even this is better. Like legitimately, no joke. Try that with your homemade candles. It will probably help you out. Well, that worked beautifully. These are actually pretty strong little wicks. They seem to be standing up quite well. I am a little bit worried about the spacing. I might pull them slightly whenever I fill this up with wax, but I mean, it looks really good. Uh-oh, we've come across our first problem. Now, even though these are completely set up, they're completely hard, when I tried to ever so slightly bend, it broke almost all of them, like right in half. It just crumbled into 4 or 5 different pieces. Now, I don't know if that happened because I didn't have it in the freezer for long enough or if I had it in there for too long, but all the same, I literally don't have a single embed that isn't broken in half now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try to freeze it for longer. I think that's what's going to be helpful. So I'm going to take all these broken pieces, add them right back to my little wax here. Now I'm starting to wonder if they didn't fill up these cavities the way that they did, like pouring all of this into the mold for the integrity of the Fruit Loops. Like I'm starting to wonder if they did that on purpose. So I'm going to follow instructions and I'm going to pour everything on top and see if we get a better result this time. Ooh, I'm also seeing here, pour melted wax into cereal mold. Cereal mold can be put into freezer to ease unmolding. Let mold set to dry for at least an hour. That means before you even get to pour your candle, you're waiting 3 hours in between each set, which feels a little bit ridiculous to me. I don't feel like you should have to wait that long. Okay, we've melted everything down again, and I guess what I'm gonna do is I'll follow the directions and wait for an hour. And I'll go ahead and fill up the whole thing. All right, I've literally filled it to the very edge and now it's running off. I pretty much asked for that, but I'm still bothered. Now I'm going to wipe down while the glass is still warm, mind you, because good luck getting this out after it has cooled. All of this extra wax. All right. Hey Siri, set a timer for 1 hour. Okay, see you guys in an hour. I know I said I was going to let this sit for an hour, but what if I let it sit for 5? Because that is indeed how long I let it sit. I went over to my mom's house to have dinner. So now, very gently, I'm going to lift that up. And then I am hoping, okay, it seems to be working. Oh, I think it might peel off in one big piece. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. Oh my gosh, maybe it did really just need to sit for an hour because that came right out. Now, it still doesn't have a hole in the middle because I filled it up that way, but it says to cut it out. And I'm not really sure. They just want you to take a really sharp, like, I feel like an X-Acto knife would be too big big for that. I feel like the key here isn't the overfilling so that you have to break off all the wax. I think the key is letting it sit for an hour. So with this next set, I'm still gonna fill it up with this little tool, but I am gonna let it sit for as long as they say to, because I just know I'm gonna get better results that way. I am also going to use less wax because you can see how much excess I have. I cannot deny how good it looks though. Okay, we have all of these out. It's gonna take a little bit of time to clean those up. Now, for someone who isn't making these professionally and they don't have a reason for this to go very fast, maybe it would be really satisfying to clean all these up. But for me, I'm impatient. I don't wanna have to do all that again, and I don't like to have this much extra wax that I'm not gonna use. So this time, instead of using 1/3 of my 1/4, I'm gonna use like 1/6 because I think that's all you really need. Yeah, like about this much. You really don't need more than that. Let's go heat this up. So I heard from so many small businesses last year that they were completely overwhelmed by the influx of holiday orders. They were staying up late every night trying to get all of their boxes compiled. They were making multiple trips to the post office, and quite frankly, they were just exhausted, and we're not doing that again this year. This year, bestie, we are using Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, you've got basically your own personal post office right on your computer. You can print official USPS postage with just a few clicks. And regardless of where you are selling, be it, Etsy, Shopify, or other marketplaces, those orders will go directly to the Stamps.com dashboard for incredibly seamless processing. The Stamps.com mobile app lets you handle package pickups, package tracking, and buying postage all from the convenience of your cell phone. No more wasting time going to the post office. Stamps.com saves you money too. Like, we're talking a large amount of money, like up to 84% off of USPS shipping rates. Their platform compares carriers and services so you know you are getting the absolute best rate every single time you ship. For 25 years, over 1 million businesses have relied on Stamps.com. Royalty Soaps is one of them. So come on, come get on the Stamps.com bandwagon with me. They're gonna save you time and money. And right now you can get a special offer that includes a 4-week free trial, free postage, and a free digital scale when you sign up at Stamps.com/royalty soaps. It is literally that easy. There are no contracts and no hidden fees. Just go to Stamps.com/royalty soaps to get started today. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for my water to boil, I'm just gonna take this little tool that I have and I'm gonna run it around kind of up and down on the inside of this. Well, it looks like I might be able to just turn it and then poke that center out so that I end up with something like this. Whoops, okay, was a little hard on that one, totally broke it. Okay, in goes the wax to the very, very, very hot water. And I am just gonna start mixing this up. It's already melting down so pretty. Okay, everything is all melted down now. Let's do our orange next. Just gonna add all that in there. Can I smell it? Not really. Okay, go ahead and mix all that up. Let's take my mold here and fill it. Okay, I just filled it all up and see how little I have left over? Yeah, you just need to do a lot less wax. So let's let this sit for an hour and then we'll come back and unmold them. Okay, so it would appear that adding this to the freezer for 30 minutes is equivalent to letting it sit on the counter for 5 hours. So to clean this up, because it's just a lot less, I'm just gonna go around every single one of them while they're in the mold, just around the edges right here, just to cut off any little bits. Okay, I know it's a little crusty looking, but I promise you, like, once we clean it up and take it out, it won't look like that. Yes, this is so satisfying. Now these are coming right out. Absolutely nothing is breaking. Okay, after removing all of these, I will go ahead and make the third color. We'll just put some music instead of doing a voiceover, because you guys have already seen this process twice. that took absolutely forever. Honestly, kind of satisfying, but it took hours. It took hours to get these little Fruit Loops. Just gonna hold that there, and I'm going to put 1/4 of the wax in it. Realistically, I think this will fill up maybe about 2/3 of the way full. Gonna use the other side of my popsicle stick to mix this up. Okay, this is definitely taking a while, but we have our little vanilla scent here. You can see this. Now, this is the only thing that I've used thus far that actually does have a bit of fragrance to it. Those other ones were like colored, but they didn't smell. Okay, I've added about half of it. Just gonna stir that around. And actually, while it's still looking kind of milky, this is when I'm gonna pour it, because if I get it too hot, I just really think that I'm gonna mess up the whole cereal bowl, and that those wicks are just gonna take off and start floating away. So let's pour in this first little bit. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna place some pins to help our wicks stay up. Pretty much everybody has pins in their house. That's why I'm using these. Okay, so now that I have everything in, I'm gonna start dropping in all of these little cereal pieces. Now, what I think I'm going to do, because they just had their cereal pieces just like on top, I think it would be better if we covered them up a little bit, because that's how real cereal would be. You wouldn't just have all of them sitting on top, you know? I'm not gonna worry how all of them fall or anything like that. Okay, I did about half of them. I'm gonna let that sit, and then I'm gonna get just a little bit more white, and we're gonna do another layer. All right, last little bit. I'm just gonna pour it all over. Yes. Okay, and then let's put the last of these in here. Ugh, I need to break it up over here. I have so many of the pink ones. Also, these do not want to go in the right way. Like, every time I put them in, they flip the wrong way. I was like, oh, I'm fine with it being random. And I'm like, unless random is always upside down, then I'm not fine with that. Okay, please. It's so cute. Okay, I'm pulling out the wicks just a little bit so that when they burn, hopefully it actually burns down and on the sides instead of just like, I don't know, burning straight down and then leaving all of this unburned, which I kind of feel like it's gonna do that anyway, but who cares? Well, they snuffed themselves out, and while I wish that it had like a very, very good burn on this candle, honestly, I didn't expect anything else. It was literally $5, okay? So the wicks are too small, they should size the wicks up. However, I do kind of wonder how many people would actually burn this candle after making it. I feel like this would be the type of thing people would use more for decor, and they would be like, it's too cute, I don't want to burn it. It also doesn't smell. Like, realistically, it doesn't smell like anything, okay? But here's the deal. It was $5. So I do want to have realistic expectations for the fact that it was $5. It came with a silicone mold, okay? It came with a cute bowl. Those were very realistic embeds. It was easy to make. It took a little while, but in a good way, like where you're feeling like, oh, this is something that I could to continually do and relax while doing. So is this kit approved? I would say yes, with stipulations. Again, you're not going to make this because you want a candle that can burn all the way down and smell up your whole room. No, you're making this candle because you want an aesthetic piece of decor that you're not going to burn, so it doesn't matter if it smells anyway, and you want to have a fun time crafting it. That's why you would buy this kit. And for those types of people, yes, I would recommend it. I feel like I should go to Five Below more often and see if they have more like bath bombs and soap kits, because there were quite a few other kits in that general category. There was one specifically for face masks. So this may become one of the new places that I like to sniff around and see if there's something for me to review. Also, I started this part of the video when the candle had snuffed itself out. Like 2 of the 3 wicks were completely dead. And my one regret is that now my candle looks like a brain. Otherwise, I could have kept it cute on top, but I'm willing to sacrifice it for you guys. Be sure you do something fun for yourself today, like making yourself a cute $5 candle from Five Below. Or maybe you just want to eat a bowl of fruity cereal. I don't really care what you do, just do something for you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now. Meow.